Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, madam.
Thank you for being with us here. As you have been just observing or being with us for these 3 days of the workshop that we are just thinking in the hard time, the role of the trade union. It's a part of rejuvenations and how we can trade union can work. So how did you find this 3 days workshop?
I think these 3 days workshop is quite interesting and it's relevant in the sense that GFONT has been able to identify some of the pressing issues that trade union movement is facing, not only here in Nepal but in other parts of the world as well. So from that perspective, this workshop is really successful, and if we could connect these issues with the day-to-day life of the people, I'm sure this will bring about tremendous changes into the life of the working people.
Yes, of course. As very closely have been observing us for these 3 days. So, what click you? I mean, what are the major two issues that you like during this workshop here?
Major two issues. The first important issues that I have noticed here is how to connect trade union with society. In fact, in recent times, trade unions somehow they have been blamed for getting away from the society. So GFONT workshop has been able to identify some issues which will reconnect trade union with society. The first one issue that I really wanted to point out is you wanted to take a lead on some of the issues like health, education, sanitation, climate change, and also the safety of the people, which I think impacts everybody, whether they are in unions or they are not in union. So that will help to increase the ownership of the activity as well.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we are just trying to connect with the community or the people by connecting with the current issue.
Yes.
It can be a social also.
Yeah.
So thank you for that points. And as you have been involved in the wall of work for the long time, and you are quite closely observing the international work of the trade union too. So how did you find, as we have been talking during these 3 days, all these sessions, that we found that now this is really a bit hard time for Nepali labor movement or the wall of work. So how did you find the Nepali wall of work in terms of labor issues, rights?
As we all know that world of work is changing very fast, and the nature of the work is also changing here in Nepal. Somehow for the Nepali workers, the job market is not really within the state. A lot of our workers are forced to go outside for their employment. So that I take as the biggest challenge for us. I think we should be able to retain these youths who can contribute to the society, also who can be really an asset for the overall development of the country. Globally, there are some challenges. The political economy is changing. The technology per se factors have brought a lot of changes. It has created different types of economy, and we should be able to adopt and adapt with that changes. I think for that we have to work some background, do some background work, or skill ourselves or upscale ourselves.
Yeah, of course, as you mentioned, the upskilling, scaling up is one of the major things that we can do to combat with this labor market, changing context of the labor market. But if you have to specify a few points, two or one point, that what exactly the Nepali labor market have to step in to overcome these sort of the challenges?
The first, the job market is changing because the nature of the work is changing. As I said earlier, the different types of jobs are being created in the market. A lot of digitization is happening in each and every sector. So if we wanted our youth to get into the job market, they need to know about certain skills which can employ them there. And also from the part of the state, if the nature of the job is changing, and then perhaps it would be the right time for the state also to prepare itself accordingly. And for the part of a trade union, I think the classical ways of organizing, classical doing many things is changing. Then how do we reinvent ourselves within this changing context would be something that we need to take into consideration.
Yeah, thank you so much for the insightful, the points that to move ahead for the just moving about the momentum, creating momentum. So finally, as we have a very long-term partnership with the FBS Nepal and then yourself too. So being as a well-wisher, we really think that the FBS has been always a well-wisher for us. And then, so how did you find GFUN working within a labor market or the migrants and some other? How did you find the GFUN work?
For FES, I think it's a really great privilege to work with GFont primarily because GFont has done some tremendous work for the workers here in Nepal. If you look at the trade union movement in the country, right from, I don't want to go back to the history, but if you look at just 30 years history of the trade union movement in the country, GFont has been always there. It has been leading. It has been able to pick up some of the important issues like social security, which I think we should all appreciate, which has been, if it is implemented in its full scale, that will change the overall life of the working people here in Nepal. So I think from the part of FES, that should be something we should all pride on. So it's a great working with GFont. I'm sure this partnership will continue in the days to come, and we together will be able to deal with some of the challenges which are happening in the world of work.
Yeah, thank you so much. As being a very long-term partner with GFUN itself, also very feel proud that we together can making change in the policies of Nepali labor market. So thank you for being with us, for your insightful thoughts, sir. Thank
It's a
you so
pleasure,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.